In recent years, we've seen countless beloved franchises self-destruct, all in the name of an audience that doesn't exist. Whether it's Star Trek, the Arrowverse, Willow, or any number of films, shows and games that have decided DEI is more important than storytelling, the result is always the same: divisive, lifeless content that ultimately collapses under its own weight. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're watching Doctor Who circle the drain as the BBC desperately clings to the wreckage of a show it systematically destroyed. Doctor Who had a unique opportunity to break free from this cycle, to do something unexpected, to actually shock the audience by leaning in the other direction. But of course, we all know how that turned out. The BBC doubled down, and now we're staring down the possible cancellation of a once great sci-fi institution. I, unlike many, didn't hold out much hope when Russell T Davies returned to the show. The damage had already been done by Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker, and it was clear that the writing team had no intention of course correcting. We had just endured bland, cardboard cutout characters delivering long, empty monologues that lectured the audience rather than engaging them. But surely, with Chibnall gone, there was a chance for a return to form, right? Nope. Instead, Davies has joined the ranks of those who ruin everything you hold near and dear to your hearts, pun intended. Partnering up with Disney and Sony, because that worked so well for Star Wars, the BBC has committed to pushing their ideological nonsense into the spotlight at the cost of coherent storytelling. Calling Davies' return a pantomime would be putting it politely. But now, we may finally have reason to celebrate. Doctor Who might be getting the axe. If recent reports are to be believed, Doctor Who is in serious trouble. Ncuti Gatwa is supposedly out after just 2 seasons, making him the shortest-lived Doctor since Christopher Eccleston. Except, unlike Eccleston, Gatwa wasn't forced out by behind-the-scenes drama. He's choosing to leave. And let's be honest, who can blame him? The show has been an unmitigated disaster. Now, Gatwa didn't exactly help his case by telling the already dwindling audience, the core audience, the British audience, to get lost and touch grass. That's not going to win any hearts or minds, is it? It's a perfect example of how out of touch the new regime is with the very people who supported the show through thick and thin. It's almost like he's trying to finish the job the BBC started, alienate everyone who gave a damn about the show. Could this be the end of Doctor Who? With the departure of Ncuti Gatwa and the alienation of its core audience, the show is on very shaky ground. It's a far cry from the days when Doctor Who was a beloved institution. The future looks bleak, and one has to wonder if there's any way back from this. Only time will tell, but the signs aren't promising. The ratings are abysmal, the storytelling is worse than ever, and the fan backlash is impossible to ignore. Davies and his team were warned about focusing more on pushing an agenda than telling a good story, but of course those critics were ignored. Now, with reports of crew layoffs and uncertainty about the show's future, the writing is on the wall. Disney is apparently reconsidering its £100 million deal with the BBC, and insiders claim the series may be shelved for at least 5 years, possibly even 10. And honestly good, Doctor Who needs time away from the public eye. At this point, there's no saving it. Not until the BBC brings in writers who actually care about science fiction instead of using the show as a soapbox. I've been a fan of Doctor Who for over 40 years. I've seen the highs, Genesis of the Daleks, The Curse of Fenric, The Waters of Mars, and the lows, The Twin Dilemma, Fear Her, basically everything since 2018. But through all of it, even when the show stumbled, it was still Doctor Who. Now, it's unrecognizable. It's a lifeless, preachy mess that has completely alienated its audience. Even the bad old episodes still had that spark of imagination and adventure. The modern show, it's just another generic, soulless product, churned out by people who think subverting expectations is more important than entertaining viewers. So, is Doctor Who dead? Not yet, but it's on life support, and if the BBC has any sense, they'll pull the plug before it embarrasses itself any further. It's time to take Crappy Doo for a walk. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where, naturally, I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.